This is the Scorecard, where you score the latest sports news and in-depth views. I'm Anton Roxas. On the Scorecard tonight, Alas men gear up for the FIVB World Championship. Cignal eyes legal spike over Molina and Meneses' contract drama. Wildfires disrupt Los Angeles sports amid crisis. In the NBA, the Warriors end the Pistons' streak despite Curry's off night, while the Mavericks storm back late to edge the Blazers. And we have in the studio, arguably one of the most accomplished amateur martial artists in the country, Chino Sy Tancontian. All the headlines and more on the Scorecard tonight, the 10th of January. Now, here's our roundup. The road to the 2025 FIVB Men's Championship or World Volleyball Championship is heating up for Alas Pilipinas men, and they're about to take it global. With the championship set to unfold on home turf this September, the team is gearing up for an intense 8-month build-up featuring training camps in volleyball hotspots across Asia and Europe. Philippine National Volleyball Federation President Ramon Tatsuzara unveiled the team's ambitious itinerary to maximize their exposure to world-class play. Suzara added a 4-team pocket tournament is in the works, arranging matches against teams from Korea, Japan, and a European squad, a weekend test event to mark 100 days before the World Championship. But the action does not stop there. A nationwide trophy tour is also kicking off in President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s home province of Ilocos Norte. The coveted trophy will make its way through Baguio, Pampanga, Cebu, Bacolod, Zamboanga, and Cagayan de Oro, rallying fans to support the home team. The Philippines is hosting the 32-team tournament solo for the first time in 11 years as the Alas men train hard and play harder. The countdown to September has officially begun, and the nation cannot wait to cheer them on. The game isn't over for Ces Molina and Riri Meneses, but it's certainly heating up. Cignal is considering legal action following what it claims is a material breach of player contracts by the dynamic duo. AVR Talent Management, the players' agency, announced the pair's decision to part ways with the HD Spikers after 3 years on the team. The agency's statement seemed like a soft lob, but Cignal quickly hit back. According to the team, a formal letter from AVR landed on their desk on January 6, signaling the players' intent to explore overseas opportunities. Cignal's management, however, claims they had been trying to initiate renewal talks since October without much of a rally from Molina and Meneses. With their contracts expiring at the end of 2024, the duo didn't report back to training after the holiday break, leading to Cignal consulting their legal team to explore all possible actions. As the volleyball world awaits for the next move, Molina and Meneses have become hot commodities. Will this pair take their game abroad or join a local rival squad? As wildfires spread across Los Angeles County, major sporting events have been delayed or canceled. The Palisades, Eaton, and Hearst fires, fueled by dry conditions and Santa Ana winds, have forced the evacuation of 70,000 residents and caused widespread power outages. The LA Wildfire Alliance has deemed this the most destructive wildfire season in the city's history. The Los Angeles Kings postponed their NHL game against the Calgary Flames on Wednesday, expressing solidarity with the community, the local community, and firefighters. The Kings' next home game won't be until January 20 against the Pittsburgh Penguins. The West Coast Conference also postponed the Pepperdine versus Portland women's basketball game, with more changes possible for upcoming events. The Los Angeles Rams' wildcard game against the Minnesota Vikings on Monday is still scheduled, but the NFL is prepared to relocate it to Arizona if needed. The Los Angeles Lakers game against the Charlotte Hornets is also on track, but the NBA is monitoring the situation. With the fires ongoing, LA sports community is hoping for the return of normalcy amid the crisis. Likewise, we hope that these fires will soon be contained and that everyone remains safe. In the NBA, the Golden State Warriors found a way to grind out a thrilling 107-104 victory over the Detroit Pistons, snapping Detroit's 5-game winning streak. And guess what? They did it on a night when Stephen Curry wasn't exactly in MVP form. Curry struggled to find his groove, shooting just 5 of 21 from the field and missing 12 of his 14 attempts from beyond the arc. But even on an off night, Curry contributed with 17 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists. Now enter Buddy Hield, who came through in the clutch with a team-high 19 points to pick up the slack for his splash brother. Trace Jackson Davis added a key double-double with 14 points and 10 boards, while Guy Santos, Lindy Waters, and Dennis Schroeder combined for 36 points off the bench. It was a full team effort to secure the win and end a 2-game skid. Now on the flip side, Cade Cunningham was on fire for Detroit, dropping 32 points in a valiant effort to keep the Pistons in the game. But despite their late push, the Pistons couldn't pull off the comeback, taking their first loss of 2025 after starting the year 5-0. The Warriors now sit at 19-18 and continue their road trip in Indianapolis against the Pacers. Meanwhile, Detroit heads home to host the Toronto Raptors and look to bounce back. Stay tuned, the NBA season is definitely heating up. The Dallas Mavericks pulled off a stunning comeback to defeat the Portland Trail Blazers 117-111 in a thrilling finish. Missing key players Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, Dallas turned to its depth and delivered when it mattered most. Portland looked in control for most of the game with Anthony Simons and Shaedon Sharpe leading the way with 22 points each, and Scoot Henderson adding 20. The Trail Blazers built a double-digit lead in the second half, relying on strong defense and sharp shooting. However, the Mavericks had other plans. Jaden Hardy lit up the scoreboard with a season-high 25 points, while PJ Washington contributed 23 points, 14 rebounds, and 3 steals. Derek Lively II was a force in the paint, posting 21 points, 15 rebounds, and 3 blocks. A decisive 16-0 run in the final minutes turned the tide for Dallas. Washington's clutch three-pointer gave the Mavericks their first lead late in the game, and Quentin Grimes sealed the victory with an and one in the closing seconds. The win was a testament to the Mavericks' resilience and depth as they overcame adversity and outplayed Portland in crunch time. Dallas will aim to build on this momentum in their next matchup. And here are other results from around the NBA. And here's your daily dose of sports lingo. What happens when in volleyball the game slows down for just a moment because there's a free ball floating over the net, offering a perfect chance to turn defense into offense? It's in these moments where the real game begins. A free ball happens when the opposing team sends an easy, non-attacking ball over the net, usually after a miscommunication or a failed play. It's a golden opportunity for the receiving team to set up a solid offensive play. But here's an interesting tidbit. While free balls might seem like an easy win, they can actually be tricky. Teams have to stay alert and avoid making careless mistakes because the opponent often uses the free ball as a chance to reset and organize their defense. It's all about seizing the moment, turning a simple ball into an opportunity to score. It is now time for our off-court buzzer. JD Kagulangan hits the ground running in Korea while Kevin Kiambao preps for takeoff. Guess who's ahead of the game again? JD Kagulangan might say with a grin as he touched down in Korea on Thursday, ready to kick off a fresh chapter with the Suwon KT Sonic Boom. The UAAP Finals MVP who led the University of the Philippines to the UAAP Championship wasted no time joining his new squad, Suwon KT, sitting third in the Korean Basketball League standings at 15-11, and they could use a spark. And with Kagulangan's arrival, this might just be the jolt that they need. The team welcomed him, and while it's a new league, the expectations remain the same. JD will need to bring his A-game alongside Sonic Boom star and national team guard Hyo Hoon. Meanwhile, Kevin Kiambao is finally set to make his own Korean debut. The UAAP MVP from LaSalle has secured his visa and is expected to suit up for the Goyang Sono Skygunners within the week. Better late than never, Kiambao quipped on Instagram as he shared the news. After a slight delay, he's raring to prove himself in the KBL, just as he did in the UAAP despite a runner-up finish in Season 87. His dominance on the court has not gone unnoticed. With both stars taking their talents to the land of the morning calm, fans are buzzing. Who will make the bigger splash? One thing's for sure, both are ready to bring the heat. And that is our roundup for tonight, the 10th of January. When we return, we have Chino Sy Tancontian, martial artist extraordinaire, as he joins us in the studio. So watch out for that when we return right here on The Scorecard. Welcome back to The Scorecard. He is a world champion in Russian Sambo, world titleist in Jiu-Jitsu, and a 4-time champion in UAAP Judo and an MVP as well, not to mention a SEA Games medalist in wrestling. Yes, he is a smiling, walking threat that has been raising the Philippine flag in the global martial arts stage. Welcome to the BNC studio, and right here on The Scorecard, Chino Sy Tancontian. Chino, brother, thank you so much for the time and gracing us with your presence dito sa ating show.
Thank you po for inviting me to be here and to share some of my experiences.
Ayan, maraming salamat sa oras. Alam mo, Chino, when I was looking at your resume and your credentials, sabi ko, nako, ang dami nito. Saan ba ako magsisimula? So I guess I will start from the beginning. Tiga saan ka ba at paano nagsimula yung hilig mo sa martial arts?
I'm from Davao City po and nag-start po mag-training ng 8 years old.
8 years old? Wow!
Yes po. We were guided, me and my sister were guided by my father who was previously also a member of the national judo team.
Yes.
And then, ayun nga po, napasa niya sa amin yung hilig niya sa judo and eventually naging passion din namin.
Yeah, Chino, I also read na your family, it runs in the family, itong martial arts, tama ba?
Yes po.
Okay.
Since sa father pa ng papa nag-start yung judo sa Davao City po.
So judo is a big deal in Davao?
Yes po.
Okay, okay. So sa Davao hindi like kasi malapit sa Jensen, Manny Pacquiao, boxing. So hindi basketball ang number 1 doon sa inyo. It's judo talaga. Or hindi naman?
Hindi naman po. Pero isa rin po sa mga big events is nung time namin is martial arts events po sa Davao City.
So prior to getting into it, wala kang ibang hilig? Like you weren't that kid that wanted to run outside and play with friends? Talagang what your dad influence you to, sinunod mo na lang?
Hindi naman po. Kasi nag-try din ako mag-basketball.
Kasi malaki ka rin eh.
Opo. Nag-try din ako mag-taekwondo actually.
Okay, okay.
Pero hindi po talaga nawala yung judo and wrestling sa akin.
Ayan, nakikita natin yung mga pictures mo dito. Talagang isinabuhay mo talaga yung pagiging isang martial artist, joining events left and right, winning medals in every competition. What age did it start becoming serious for you? Kasi sabi mo nagsimula 8 years old. What age did you say, okay, I'm gonna focus on this, I'm gonna lock in and really work hard to make a name for myself here?
Siguro po for me around 10 years old.
Okay. So very fast.
Yes,
From
po.
8 years old, nag-start ka, 10 years old, seryoso na agad.
Kasi po may nga rin po ako, may vision po na nakita ko yung tatay ko na nag-participate sa SEA Games.
Okay.
So, ayun din po yung goal namin. Pero, syempre, gusto ko rin po mag-step up. Gusto mas malampasan yung achievements ng papa ko. Kaya, ito talaga yung aking goal.
Okay. From Davao naman, kailan ka na-recruit? What's your story? Were you recruited to come to Manila?
Yes po. Since dapat po talaga grade 7 pa lang gusto na kaming kunin ng UST to train here and represent the school.
Yes.
Kaso po, sabi nga rin po sa amin na mas better if college na kami ipadala dito para medyo hindi na kami ma-injury.
Yes.
Tapos medyo malakas na kami pagdating dito.
Yes.
Pero since nagkaroon po ng senior high, kaya nung senior high, nilet go na po kami para mag-ano na dito sa Manila.
And I know for some student athletes, parang napaganda nga na nagkaroon ng senior high kasi humaba yung experience nila sa UAAP. And you actually have 1 more year sa UAAP, tama ba?
Yes po.
Nako, problema yan sa mga competitors mo. Paano nila makukuha yung gold kung naglalaro ka pa? Okay, for you, in your 4 championships, ano yung pinaka-memorable moment mo? What is your most memorable moment as a UAAP athlete so far?
For me po, yung this year namin na championship.
Okay, bakit?
Kasi po, from last year, na talo po kasi kami ng UP sa overall championship. And ngayon po, since naging team captain ako, tapos nabalik pa namin yung corona sa Espanya. So
redemption story pala.
Opo.
Pero nag-MVP ka nung season 86, right?
Opo.
Okay, pero hindi kayo nag-champion.
Overall? Hindi, nung 85 po nag-MVP.
85. Okay.
So, kaya ganun po.
Ayun. So may there was a motivation pala. In your final year in the UAAP, what is your goal?
Siyempre, to retain the championship para sa amin. Yung individual medal naman po is parang ambag ko na rin sa team namin.
Yes.
Pero gusto ko po makatulong talaga sa teammates ko din na after namin next year, magtuloy-tuloy pa yung championship namin.
Okay. Chino, I was reading an article about your goals for this year and of course, yung 2028 na mag-compete, represent the Philippines in the LA Olympics. But let's start with 2025. We have the SEA Games happening. What's the goal for you and how are you preparing for that this year?
Actually, starting from now po, nag-try na rin ako mag-prepare kasi marami na pong naka-line up na tournament na kailangan ko salihan para mag-gain ng exposure, ng experience to improve and maging mas prepared po sa SEA Games na. Okay.
Now, LA Olympics. I know it's so far from now eh. Parang 'di ba 2025 ngayon, 2028. But for an athlete like you, before mag-start, iniisip mo na yan eh. Because it's a long road. Yung mag-qualify pa lang, sobrang hirap na yan. So, what's the mindset for you and how are you preparing? How does a guy like you who's so decorated prepare for an Olympics that's happening more than 3 years from now?
Actually, gusto po siya i-take step at a time. Kasi po para mapasambo, jiu-jitsu, wrestling na competition ko po na masalian.
Yeah.
Alam ko po magbibigay yan ng experience sa akin to be better every time. So, in 3 years time, hopefully naka-garner ako ng enough experience and along the way, makasali ako dun sa mga qualification points for qualifying.
Yeah.
So, yun po yung target ko sa ngayon.
And Chino, I understand nag-e-ensayo ka rin sa Japan.
Yes po.
So how's that experience na, syempre, malayo ka sa pamilya and you're just there training all day, every day. How big of a sacrifice is that for you, just looking at the big picture?
Actually, for me po, masaya siya na experience kasi I get to do what I like. Kasi gusto rin naman po mag-training, tapos andun ako, nabubugbog ako, masakit yung katawan ko. Kaya okay naman po siya sa akin, tapos bagong environment. So, good experience every time.
Okay, Chino, before we close our interview, just a couple of fun questions. How do you stay in shape? Kasi, syempre, 2025, a lot of people are thinking about their New Year's resolution. I personally want to lose more weight. How do you stay in tip-top shape? Like your daily routine?
para sa akin po, stay active lang. Parang isipin lang po natin na kailangan magpapawis talaga parati. Kasi yung kain, ako po, hindi ko po talaga maiwasan yung kain.
Ako, same tayo dyan. Yun yung pinakamahirap.
Every time yung kain ko sobra sa ano. Pero as long as naisip ko na exercise naman ako, napapawis ko naman yung kinain kong sobra.
So just maintain the consistency with regards to the exercise.
Yes po.
Okay, Chino, baka may nanonood ngayon, young athlete who has dreams of becoming somebody like you, representing the Philippines. If you had a chance to give a message to these young athletes, what would you say to them para to chase their dreams and goals?
Ang masabi ko lang is to dream big. Kasi kung malaki yung dreams nyo, whenever you fall, at least mataas-taas pa rin yung naabot nyo.
Ayan. So there we have it, multi-sport champion Chino Sy Tancontian. And hopefully, ma-manifest ko na 2028 LA Olympian. And hopefully after that, bumalik ka dito sa show natin. Chino, thank you so much for the time and congratulations on all the accomplishments. All the best this 2025.
Thank you po.
When the scorecard returns, we will look into the upcoming NBA matchup so you can keep your eyes on the prize. Welcome back to the scorecard. It's time to keep your eyes on the prize. We'll break down the upcoming matchups to deliver key insights that might just give you the edge you need to stay ahead of the game. Tomorrow, January 11 at 8:30 a.m. Philippine time, live at Madison Square Garden in New York City, the Oklahoma City Thunder will take on the New York Knicks. The Oklahoma City Thunder come into this game with a league-best 36 record, sitting first in the Western Conference. However, they're looking to rebound after a tough 122-129 loss to the Cleveland Cavaliers, ending their 15-game winning streak. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander continued to shine with 31 points, while Jalen Williams added 25. Despite the loss, OKC showed their depth and competitiveness in a highly intense matchup against one of the NBA's top teams. On the other hand, the New York Knicks entered this game with a 25-13 record, sitting third in the Eastern Conference. They're coming off a 112-98 victory over the Toronto Raptors, with Karl Anthony Towns delivering 27 points and 13 rebounds, and OG Anunoby matching his effort with 27 points of his own. Josh Hart contributed 21 points and 11 rebounds as the Knicks snapped a 3-game losing streak. The Oklahoma City Thunder enter as slight favorites with a minus 3.5 point spread. OKC's road record of 13-4 and their paint dominance led by Gilgeous-Alexander make them a formidable opponent. But the Knicks' 12-5 home record and consistent shooting could tip the balance in their favor. The over-under is set at 227.5, suggesting a balanced clash between two highly talented teams. Can the Thunder regain their winning form, or will the Knicks protect their home court and build on their recent victory? Don't miss this electrifying showdown tomorrow. And at 9 a.m. Philippine time, live at the United Center in Chicago, the Washington Wizards will face off against the Chicago Bulls. The Washington Wizards entered this game with a 6-29 record, currently sitting last in the Eastern Conference. In their last outing, they fell short to the Philadelphia 76ers 109-103 despite a strong fourth quarter push led by Jared Butler's 26 points and Corey Kispert's 23 points. With injuries sidelining Jordan Poole and Malcolm Brogdon, the Wizards have lost 4 straight games and are looking to end their slump on the road. Meanwhile, the Chicago Bulls hold a 17-20 record, good for 10th place in the Eastern Conference. They're coming off a 113-129 loss to the Indiana Pacers despite Zach LaVine's 31-point effort. The Bulls struggled against the Pacers' relentless tempo, with 14 first-half turnovers dooming their comeback chances. However, Chicago has won 3 straight games at home and will be hungry to continue that trend tomorrow. The Chicago Bulls come in as favorites with a minus 8.5 point spread. The Wizards' defense remains a key concern, allowing a league-worst 121.9 points per game. Now, on the other hand, the Bulls will look to exploit this with their stronger scoring options led by Nikola Vucevic and Zach LaVine. The over-under for this game is set at 232.5, with both teams expected to run a fast-paced offense. Can the Wizards find a way to pull off an upset despite their injury woes? Or will the Bulls continue their home dominance and strengthen their playoff position? We'll see. Here are the rest of the odds for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And that wraps up tonight's preview, so you can keep your eyes on the prize. Before we go, think on this. From the two-time World Heavyweight Boxing Champion and 1968 Olympic gold medalist and the oldest heavyweight champion winning the title at age 45. George Foreman, also known as Big George, once said, "You have to keep your goal in mind and never lose sight of it." And with that, thank you for joining us tonight. We'll see you again next week on The Scorecard, where sports is our business and business is our sport, right here on the Billionaire News Channel. My name is Anton Roxas. Have a blessed evening, everybody. Happy weekend.